begin.
Hey guys, welcome to the
Hello.
first ever Almost Family After Show. We're almost family here, guys.
Yeah.
We are family.
Ooh, we could do that song too.
We're going to get closer and closer.
we have a
I love
theme
it.
song.
I love it. Tonight we're going to talk about episode 1, the pilot. Tonight we're going to talk about the new sisters that we've all just met. We also have a criminal father. We have our predictions, news and gossip, our special segment, top 3. And ladies, can you tell us who you are?
Hello guys, I'm Jessica Lucero. Thanks so much for joining us. I mentioned to those of you tuning into the live chat, thank you guys so much for staying posted with us, staying patient. We're so excited to talk about this pilot episode.
Hey guys, I'm Bethany Jean, and I'm obsessed with DNA stuff, so I'm pretty excited about this panel.
And I am your moderator, Princess Carol. I have a family full of women, so I'm excited to watch a show about sisters.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get right into it. What were your overall thoughts?
I loved it.
I really like it.
Yeah.
And I really like Emily Osment.
I love her so much.
She's the joy.
I have to be honest, this is the first thing I've ever really watched her in, because she was kind of a Disney star when I was past Disney watching age. So to me, she was just Haley Joel Osment's twin face sister.
Right.
Like, they're just the same face to me. So it was kind of cool to watch her as an adult. And I love her characters just so over the top.
And
I
it was
love
kind
that
of cool.
she's kind of trashy.
Yeah. It was kind of cool to see her singing a little bit more.
Yes.
Okay,
Right.
so this is really funny. I did know that she sang
Right.
only because I watch the original Sleeping Beauty. I have it on DVD, and I watch it with my daughter, Bowie. And at the end, there's like a music video that Haley... we're going to do that the whole time. That Emily Osment is singing I Know You. And I was like, oh, she sings, but she's young there. And now I just heard her adult singing voice tonight. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's a gorgeous voice.
Yeah.
Ah,
Speaking
I
of
love
which, I have
her.
a great little news segment coming for you guys. So
All right.
yeah.
I love it.
Just tease that a little bit.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm a big Emily fan too, ever since she was Lily on Hannah Montana. And I did watch Young and Hungry for a bit. But let's go ahead and get into the episode. So we are introduced to our 3 leads. We have Julia, Edie, and Roxy. Let's start with Julia. She has a very complicated relationship with her dad / criminal father. What'd you guys think of her?
It's just funny how she really has always looked up to him, especially since it's now just the two of them. We aren't completely positive on when her mom passed away. Right, that wasn't mentioned.
No.
Yeah,
It was brought up later, but yeah.
I mean, we know she passed. We don't know how long ago.
Yeah.
Okay,
How
right.
long ago, yeah.
So it's just the two of them. It seems like she's really looked up to him her entire life, and you can tell with the way they interact with each other that that's pretty much how it's always been. Like, he has always kind of told her what to do, and since her father is so well known in that industry, I think she kind of just really looked up to him and would kind of do whatever he said. Like, he seemed to be so well put together that she was like, if I just do everything that he says, then I'll kind of follow in his footsteps. And she's like completely betrayed by him now, obviously, as the entire world is betrayed at this
And he's
point.
such like a narcissist, controlling, manipulative ego. And then she somehow has been raised by him, maybe exclusively, because we don't know how old mom was when she passed.
Right.
And she's completely unscathed. Like, she's just really sweet. I mean, if anything, maybe she would fall in like a codependent category or something, but she's just a really sweet, normal girl.
I don't know about sweet though. She seems like she has a little bit of
sassy.
a rough edge.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
she seems a
Well,
little
she's in
bitter.
an extreme scenario.
Right.
Well,
like
prior
I-
to that, she seemed a little bitter, Bethany.
But you know
But
what?
not Bethany. I just say it on the regular. I just realized you're also Bethany, but not you.
That's hilarious.
Is that as a term?
I
Bitter
do.
Bethany? Oh,
In
how
Negative
funny.
Nancy, the same thing.
That's so funny.
I know shade.
Never heard this.
No shade, no tea.
No shade,
But
no
it's
shade.
also really funny because she almost in a way had, okay, I say this very lightly, but like daddy issues, because she was going on her dating app the whole time,
Yes.
and like always talking about guys. And she even mentioned how Edie's now with the guy that she was originally with Tim. And I feel like that was a reoccurring subject. So guys, don't forget to let us know what you think about Julia as well. Make sure to scroll through.
Yes.
I thought it was interesting that they made her character kind of promiscuous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just interesting.
I think it's so interesting that they all have I feel like they all have the same root issue, but it just shows up in different ways. And I think that's really cool because that's life. Like, we all may have similar issues, but the way that they show up or the way that they manifest just can look so different. And I love that. And the next person I wanted to get into is actually Edie, because she's going through a lot right now as well. What did you guys think of her and her relationship with Tim, her husband?
I feel like she is just very into holding herself out to be this perfectionist, because growing up she grew up with a single mom who kind of struggled a little bit, and so she's always wanted to like put on this front that she is perfect. Obviously no one's perfect, but she's trying her hardest to achieve that perfection, you know what I mean? So now this happening is just taking a whole other turn, and she's obviously finding herself a little bit later in life than people might find themselves. But I guess sort of realizing that now I think she is into women. That was sort of confirmed in this episode. So that was interesting. I didn't see that coming.
She seemed really cut off by her interests, though. Like
Confused.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I wonder if it's more of it seemed like there was an issue leading up to this, and this was kind of like the catalyst. So I wonder if we'll see her start to navigate this time where she's just uncertain. I don't know. I would love to hear more of the backstory between her and Tim. And speaking of Tim, what did you guys think of him? Did you think it was appropriate for him to go and meet with Julia? Do you think he really loves Edie?
No.
What do you guys think?
I did not find that as being appropriate.
Neither of them are really respecting the boundaries of their marriage. Her, obviously.
Especially being that they have a
text would have sufficed.
Yeah.
He could have texted her and just been like, hey, I just want you to know I was rooting for picking up your case, but there's conflict. We can't do it. Best of luck. Like, I wish we could help.
You know what else I did notice about Edie is that she's like easily told basically how she is as a person, and then she starts to identify with that. When her mom called her broken, then she ended up later using that word when she described herself to Tim. And then when Amanda started hitting on her, asking if they were on the same team or if they played for the same team, however they worded it. And then later on in the episode, she ends up kissing Amanda. So I thought that was interesting too, and I can't quite figure out why that is. So if you guys have any insight.
Well, she's obviously not like super madly in love, happy with her husband.
No.
I'm going to go ahead and say. So I feel like there was maybe already a little cracked door of opportunity for her. And I think that person, Amanda, was just the first person to show her attention. Like, I don't know if...
They call it thread, like a piece of thread
coming out, Jazzy Jones on the live chat is giving us a lot of feedback. To go scroll up to the top for a second, she said, Julia to me is complicated, especially dealing with what her father has done for years and didn't know about it. Completely agree with you there. And then she also makes the prediction that Edie and Tim will definitely get a divorce, especially now that she's finding out that she's a lesbian. And you know what? I feel like if they weren't to get a divorce after the way their relationship went just in this pilot episode, I would be shocked. I don't know how soon that's going to come.
Yeah, I think it's so early. I feel like this is so new for her. It'll be interesting to see her arc this season.
And I also don't know if she would want to easily divorce her husband Tim, because it'd almost be like Julia's winning. You know what I mean?
And also, I was just going to say, and she's a winner. She doesn't fail.
She's too competitive for that. So I don't know.
Interesting.
I feel like
they might hang on to
Tim deserves a divorce. Nothing against Edie. I just don't think she's like head over heels in love with him, and everyone deserves to be loved by their spouse, you know?
I don't know. I feel like it's just so early, and there's so much we don't know about them, and he wants to fight, but maybe there's just so many reasons why she's in this place. So it'll be interesting to kind of see their backstory and find out a little bit more. But one person that we all seem to love is Roxy. I really like Roxy. And
spicy.
Yeah, I love Emily's character. I'm used to seeing her Young and Hungry, like I said, and then her play Lily. So this is a different character from what I've seen before from her. So what did you guys think? I think we were all laughing.
I'm laughing because I wrote down that she reminded me of Violet from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. When she walked into her house and she has like the I Love Roxy sign behind her, whatever it was, and like all of her awards from when she was a gymnast. I just remember sitting there thinking, wow, this reminds me of Violet from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
You're turning violet.
Yeah.
Violet.
With all of her awards behind her, and she's just so proud and like into herself. But then she also reminds me of someone who peaked in high school. You know what I mean? Like,
I could see that.
They're so stuck to their ways, and like they're so confident from 10 years ago or whatever it was, 5-10 years ago. Even though it's like, come on, man, like you got to do something new.
I actually feel really bad for her character.
Right.
Like her parents, I'm not saying they don't love her, but they obviously use her.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a harsh term, but you know,
That's true.
That's a lot of pressure for her to support the fam. She's so quick to detach from them. So there's got to be a lot to that dynamic in that relationship for her to just be like, cool, I have a new family. Bye. Like, you guys suck. I'm out of here.
Yeah. She's super happy to
Lots of anger issues,
experience
obviously.
But we love her.
She brings a lot
I love her.
of comedy
Her
to the show. It's like such a heavy, serious topic. And then her character is just so ridiculous. So I mean, I have like a list of her one-liners. She was so funny.
We should do a compilation at the end. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But speaking of family, Bethany, do you have a message for our family out there?
Yeah. Hey, guys, we just want to thank you so much for making us the ESPN of TV talk. And if whatever platform you're on, be sure to subscribe, like, comment, give us 2 thumbs up, give us 5 stars because they're the only stars that count. And just keep interacting with us because we love hearing from you guys. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you. Now, you mentioned how she has sort of lightened this episode or this entire series, being that it is a serious matter, especially now that there's
we need her character.
Yeah, we need that comic relief.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is not because she's funny, because clearly everyone's broken in a different way, but she just, I don't know if it's her age or just I'm a Roxy
She's
fan
kind of
already.
the Toby Damon, like in This Is Us. Like just comes in with like her little funny lines.
one-liners.
It's a heavy topic.
Yeah. And have you guys noticed that this is kind of reoccurring lately now that 23andMe is a thing and social media, everyone's so active on social media.
Yeah.
It's so easy for people to find out if they do have other family members. It's like these men and women, I guess, I don't know, maybe it could be both. I don't know exactly how it would work. But that maybe went out and got a little risque back in the day and tried to hide it. It's like they can't hide it.
Know.
Yeah,
or didn't know.
Yeah.
We have a situation in our own family. I had an uncle who did not know he had a son, and then his son married a DNA doctor.
Really?
He was adopted, and so she was like, let's just find your DNA.
Well, that happened to Julia in this episode.
I know.
She had a hookup with someone who ended up potentially being her brother, so that's super awkward.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's gross.
But let's go ahead and get into the dad. I just wanted to talk about him real quick. It seems like he has a very interesting relationship with the women around him, which we talked about kind of offline. All the nurses surrounding him were female. Edie's mom seemed like she was kind of complicit with all of this. So what did you guys think of the dad and just the situation? I want to hear your thoughts.
Oh, God. I don't even. I just think that what he did was so repulsive, and it's just hard to think, like, people actually do this, you know? It's so hard to see the way he holds himself. Like, you mentioned narcissist.
He's incredibly narcissistic.
Huge narcissist.
What did you guys think of the him being tried with rape or sexual assault?
I think it makes sense. I feel like from the very beginning,
but like kind of tracks too.
Yeah, it's a power move. You know, I mean, I used to watch SVU, and the people that do that, it's usually that power that they're seeking, or there's a dominance that they're looking for. And I feel like, to me, when they announced that, I was like, okay, I see you. I agree.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
And it's against their will, so it does fall under that category in a way. So, I mean, I don't know exactly.
I mean, it's just a really bold.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see where it goes, because like I said, you had Edie's mom who seemed to, in a way, defend it. And
well, do we know that she knew?
She made it seem like she knew. Like,
She said she assumed.
Yeah,
based
she
on-
was. It seemed like she was okay
Edie's
with
mom.
it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Edie's
I was
mom.
confused. I thought you meant Julia's mom.
No, Edie's
Yes.
mom. So it'll be interesting. I wonder if there's going to be like a cool take on women's issues and this particular issue. I'm excited.
Well, Edie's mom is a really cool character too.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to see more from her. She's obviously kind of like free-spirited.
Yeah.
You know.
She kind of reminds me of Rainbow from Blackish.
I really I love her character. I feel like she's actually going to hold a little bit of a bigger role than I kind of assumed at first. I didn't think that the parents would have too big of a role, but after seeing Roxy's parents a few times and then seeing Edie's parents as well, I feel like, I don't know, I just love Edie's mom's free spirit.
I
She's
even
so
thought
cute.
for a minute, I wondered if Edie's mom and him might have at some point had an
a
actual
fling?
affair.
I could see that. I got that vibe too.
Because she speaks of him very like she gets him and she appreciates him for who
Yeah.
he is, and she's not like
Yeah.
offended. If
And
that
Edie
was
and Julia
right,
grew
that-
up together.
Yeah, and they were close. So,
So that
but
was
she was friends with
know.
her mom. So I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
interesting.
Scandalous. I love it. Speaking of scandalous, let's get back to our favorite couple, the Palmers. Do you think they should have taken the case? Or do you think it was right for them to just go with Edie's decision not to take the case?
I think it would be a conflict of interest
Yes.
for her to take the case.
I don't know how she
prior to
could.
her knowing that, I was just interested. That's all. It's just me.
Yeah, I think they did the right thing not taking the case just because they're already affiliated with that family.
I mean, she would
That's a good
essentially be
point.
part of the lawsuit.
Yeah. I don't think
Well, I
it
guess
was-
Or
if that
whatever.
were-
Like,
yeah,
if you're actually
defending, like, her
tallying up
potential value.
victims, like,
Yeah.
she would be, I mean, it just doesn't, like, make sense. I think
Yeah.
even if they did go in, they would have had to fall out and defer to a different attorney.
Yeah, I guess Tim probably looked at it as, I don't know. He seemed to be really invested. I guess time will tell what his relationship is going to look like with Julia.
I love reading these comments right now in the
think
live
they're
chat.
gonna have an affair.
Affairs all the way around.
Oh,
Everybody
oh my
having
gosh,
affairs.
there's gonna be so many affairs.
I think Tim and Julia are gonna kiss or something
For sure.
at some point, and then it's gonna be weird because it's her sister.
Oh God.
I hope not. I hope not.
Oh,
Oh, man.
So,
Save it for
going-
predictions,
I know.
guys.
going
know.
through
What's
the
in
live
live
chat
chat?
right
Yeah.
now, we've got lots of comments going off on Dr. Beckley right now, talking about how much of a narcissist he is.
Insufferable human.
Renji 90998 says, definitely a narcissist, really thinks he's not a villain in all of this when obviously he is.
Yeah, no, he's the hero. Hadn't you heard?
Shanice, sweet smile. The fact that he still thinks what he did was okay is sickening. I agree with you there.
Yeah.
By the way,
justifying
can
it.
we just talk about the look on his face when he was getting arrested?
Oh, the death glare.
And he's looking at Julia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And kudos to music department. They play You Don't Own Me,
Yes.
and he's looking at her like, I disown you.
I wrote down their names, Christy Ilias and David J. Schwartz, because they did such a great job with the music in this episode. First off, using Lizzo as like the soundtrack of this season. I just took a DNA test and I'm like, oh my God, yes, so accurate. I love that. So I think they did a great job throughout this entire episode. And then even
Shout
having
out.
Roxy singing, and they had that music mixed throughout the rest of that. AfterBuzz TV dramas put DNA test.
Hashtag Beckley babies. Oh,
You are the father.
You are the father. That's super awkward. There should be a Maury episode. Anyway, before we move on, I just wanted to talk about Roxy one more time. So at the end, we see her taking some pills, recording a video. Are we concerned for her? I thought it was a suicide attempt, but I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on that before we move out.
I don't know if I thought it was a suicide
don't-
attempt.
yeah.
I think her whole life is a cry for help.
Okay.
Yes. I think
More
the
so than a real threat. I think she's just more like, can I get attention? I'm clearly not okay. Like throwing herself on whoever will have her as family,
right.
you know?
Yeah, I definitely just feel bad for Roxy, the way she was raised and literally being used by her family. They said that she's their only income. It's like she needs to get out of that family and
Yeah.
or kick them out or whatever. If she's paying their rent, yeah, she should for sure get them out of there, because That's just like,
sad.
she doesn't need to deal with that. She shouldn't at that young age already be responsible for her parents, you know?
Well, we saw her take the pills. Do you think that might allude to an addiction? What did you guys think?
Yes.
Potentially addiction. But also she was a gymnast, so I know that gymnasts, cheerleaders, people who are very like competitive in that sort of in that those types of athletics, they have a lot of like sore muscles and honestly like their body is just like not okay by that age.
I'm sure.
So it could even just relate to something as simple as that, her trying to numb the pain a little bit. So
She probably has a lot. She may have had surgeries and stuff too.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see how all of that unfolds. I'm really into camera angles, and when I see them pay close attention to particular items, I feel like, okay, I'm gonna watch out for that bottle in the future.
Yeah.
See what that's foreshadowing. But guys, that is the episode. Let's move on to our next topic. So now we're going to get into news and gossip
Yes.
with Miss Jessica. All right, give us the tea.
love this, love this. Okay, guys, I have some tea for you. So once I heard about Almost Family in the first place, I did a little research because I was like, this sounds familiar. You know, like I've heard this story before. And basically, there were so many cases online. There's one that I'm looking up right now, and it was Dr. Norman Barwin that you guys are able to see in a sec. It says, fertility doctor loses license after using his own sperm. I believe he had somewhere between 50 and 100.
In the 70s?
Yeah, this was back in the 70s. So this has been dating back years and years, back in Ontario, Canada. And then there was another case that I looked up. The New York Times printed this one. And it says, a fertility doctor uses his sperm on unwitting women. Their children want answers. Dun, dun, dun.
Should we make only female fertility doctors?
Right? Maybe we trust them a little bit more. Basically, he had more than 36 children, or 36 people who thought that he could have been their father. So this isn't something new. This isn't something that the producers really like schemed up on their own. They definitely had the help of this being real life. It actually happened. So yeah, it's gross to see
I
how
agree
many
with you
people
about
do
the
this.
power thing.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of like duping women. It feels very
Yeah.
Bill Cosby.
Oh my gosh, so accurate.
It's so
And
sad.
There's just one other little news segment that I wanted to share with you guys because the Almost Family Twitter went out and tweeted a couple days ago asking, telling the audience members, go ahead and ask us some of your guys' questions. And so me being excited for this pilot episode, I'm like, okay, I have a question for you guys. So I ended up asking them what they sort of did to bond off of TV, off of camera, what they did. And so actually Megalyn, who plays Edie, she ended up answering my question. So let's see if we can go ahead and play that for you guys.
How fun.
Hi, Jessica. Okay, so one of our favorite things to do offset and in our spare time is karaoke. You can probably guess that. We're all singers. We all love to sing. We're all hams. Sometimes Emily and I do duets.
Oh my gosh, so cute.
If you have any requests, let us know.
Yeah, so I loved that.
I love that.
Right?
I know you did
Request,
that. That's
guys.
so
Wasn't that so
fun.
cute? I was like, oh my god, they tweeted me. Like I felt so special. And then once she gave the answer and I watched this episode, I was like, wow, this makes so much sense
Yeah.
that they literally are singing throughout this entire
Sam
episode.
Elliott song.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that we get to hear a little bit of Julia and Edie sing throughout this season as well.
I'm sure we
Yeah,
will.
we
I
gotta
think
put in a
karaoke
request.
will play a role in the sister bonding on screen.
Definitely. Yeah, that's another one of their similarities next to their
Yeah, teeth tapping,
tapping or
and
whatever.
lactose intolerance.
And more to come, I'm sure, because they got the same daddy. So. All right, next up, guys, we have our special segment. It's going to be led by Bethany. It's DNA Dominos.
DNA Dominos, just came up with that, not gonna lie.
It's a good one.
So we wanted to do a segment about unlikely pairings in Hollywood and the celebrity world and entertainment. So tonight we're going to do surprise. Nicolas Cage is the nephew of Francis Ford Coppola, who for you that might be unaware of who that is, he's director, writer, producer. He did, a little series called The Godfather.
Just saying.
Yeah. Also things like Lost in Translation, Marie Antoinette, The Conversationalist, Jack, The Secret Garden. There were so many. I couldn't even keep up with them all. But turns out Nicolas Cage, stage name, his real name is Nicholas Kim Coppola. And when he started venturing into acting, he decided to drop Coppola because he didn't want ties to the name. He wanted to be an actor fair and square, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, and he chose Cage
that.
in kind of like homage to his favorite superhero, Luke Cage.
Oh,
Kind of cute and cool.
I like that.
I didn't even know. I like Luke Cage. I'm a big fan. I wish it hadn't gone off. Anyway. Anyway, next up we have our top 3.
Yes,
Jessica.
guys. So we decided that we wanted to do a top 3 families that are sort of big in the Hollywood scene. As you guys know, there's tons of those families at this point. The list could
The Partridges, the Bradys. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
Real family.
I love that. But basically, we want to give you guys our version of the top 3 biggest Hollywood names. We're going to go with that. So starting off with number 3, we'll talk about one who recently celebrated a wedding. Any guesses? Any guesses? Go ahead and leave your comments.
Wedding.
Quick. Okay. We're going to go with the Baldwins. Haley,
Yeah.
of course. That's probably the name who comes off of everyone, like the top
I
of
just
your
think
head.
of the
you know what I mean?
brothers. I kind of
Alec-
forget about her.
Oh, yeah.
But yes,
them
no,
too.
she's a very popular person.
There's tons of them. Yeah, she's not even a Baldwin anymore. She's a
She's
Bieber.
a Bieber.
Yeah. She's
It's
a BB.
weird. Oh,
New acronym.
cute. Okay, up next we've got the Arquettes.
The Arquettes, who I love. The
She's a
Arquette
big fan over
family.
here. Patricia?
Yes, Patricia's my favorite.
Recently did
I love
amazing.
Patricia.
In the act.
And David,
Oh.
of course, and Rosanna, and the late Alexis.
So many. These families are insane. And then, drum roll, please. I'm just gonna give myself a oh, wow. He knew it was coming.
The most famous
The
of all time.
Jacksons. There it is. Obviously, you got Michael Jackson, the biggest name ever.
You might have heard of him.
Maybe you've heard of him. I don't know. Yeah, rest in peace. Can't forget
R.I.P.
that. You got Janet Jackson. I mean, the Jackson 5 just has 5 of them right there. So there's a ton of them. The list could go
Latoya.
on. This could actually be kind
Troy
of
had
fun.
a little career.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of Jacksons.
There's
I
a
love
whole lot
Janet's.
of Jacksons.
All the Jacksons.
They need to have a keeping up with the Jacksons.
Oh my gosh.
Because we don't want to keep
Can
up
you
with
imagine?
that other.
All the Jacksons. The Jacksons, 17. I don't know how many there are. I just said 17.
A couple of you guys also said the Biebs, or you might just be relating to the fact that I was talking about Haley Baldwin, but either way. Yep, the Biebers.
J. Biebs, Justin Biebs.
Love them.
Thank you, ma'am.
Of course.
Thank you. So let's go ahead and get into predictions.
Your AfterBuzz
Yeah.
TV prediction.
Love that.
So we did see a preview of next week's episode, but guys, what do you think is going to happen this season? It's only 8 episodes, so it's pretty quick.
So what I think, it is interesting though that there's only 8 episodes, so I feel like it's gonna have to go pretty quick, like you mentioned. I feel like their personalities are very different. Like, while they do have these similarities, like we've touched on the tooth tapping and the little tongue thing that they were doing for a second, their lactose intolerance, whatever. I think that they're going to sort of rub off on each other for the better.
Totally.
That
I like
being
that.
said, I think Roxy is a little immature at this point. She's never really had to grow up in that aspect. She was a gymnast, so she could sort of be however she wanted. You know what I mean? She kind of wanted to have more fun when she's performing. But I think she's going to have to, or she's going to grow up a little bit more being around someone like Edie and Julia, who are a little bit more mature, I would say. And then someone like Edie, who is very serious, very competitive. I'm hoping that she ends up having a little bit more fun throughout the rest of the season, because we don't want to see just the serious side of her, you know? We want to see her have a little bit more fun.
Yeah, I agree. I like that idea of them kind of rounding each other out.
Yeah, definitely.
That's cool. My predictions are sad and dark. And we kind of already touched on it, but I do think Edie and Tim are going to probably divorce, and I suspect Tim and Julia are going to have a moment of something of temptation. I don't know if they'll actually fall through on anything because now Edie and Julia will become close, and that'll be another whole nother conflict. But I think it's gonna be interesting to watch that trio.
Yeah.
Interesting. I agree. I think that Julia and Tim will come close, but I think because they're sisters now, I don't think Julia would do that.
Yeah.
As far as Tim and Edie, I don't know. I think it's too early for me, but I do look forward to seeing, in a weird way, seeing Edie unravel. But then I think she'll come back together. Like she'll figure herself out in the process, but I think she just needs to go through her journey, and it'll be interesting to see where she lands at the end of the journey.
Right.
It could go in so many different directions. She could be like, I don't want anybody, I just want to be by myself. So
especially with her and Amanda, and now Amanda being on the opposing side of this case, do you think that they're going to continue to sort of have these little moments, or do you think she's going to drop it? Like, that's going to be...
Well, they showed it in the previews.
But that's true. That's true.
They're in
That's
each
true.
other's lives. They're in it now.
That is a conflict of interest as well.
Oh my God, you guys, I
mean-
have to share this one live chat from Glow Loves Jomo. I love that name right there. She said, Edie needs some lady love.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That's
She
so
does.
funny.
You're
they
right.
need to hit up the gay bars together.
We're going to find out. We're going to
funny.
find out. All right. Well, that was the pilot, guys. Oh, man. I'm excited.
good.
We got 7 episodes. It's so short.
I know.
Guys,
by quick.
where can we find you on social media?
Now that we have a second to catch our breath, you guys
Right.
can find me at Jess Lucero Live on Twitter and Instagram. You guys saw my Twitter a minute ago, in case you didn't catch it. But
You guys can find me at Bethany Jean Official. That's Bethany with an IE.
Guys, I'm Princess Carol. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at PrincessCTV. Thanks, guys. See you next week. Peace out.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.